Are you all over the place with your rhythm and groove? Recently, dozens of guitar players asked me to roast their playing, and most of them have the same one or two sneaky mistakes tripping them up over and over again. It throws off their timing, kills momentum, and makes it feel like they're stuck, even when they're practicing like crazy. Today, I'm lightly roasting 3 brave players and helping you fix the same bad habits that might be sabotaging your playing as well. These tricks are bulletproof. I use them on tour, in sessions, in my 25 plus years as a pro musician. So let's dive in. And hey, if you want to jam along with these custom jam tracks you're about to hear, hit the link to access my open gym. All right, let's kick it off with Zach. There's Zach, and let's check out what he's working on. I recognize right away some Stevie Ray. One of my favorite all-time songs. One of the first songs I ever learned. Look at that right hand going. Lots to love about that. Okay, so right away, I'm going to jump in. Sorry for the interruptions, but hey, getting that locomotive sound going, that's a really good habit. And a lot of people overlook the fact that Stevie Ray really liked to strum in a circle. And it wasn't just for looks to be cool. It gives it a sort of swagger and a gallop and a swing to it. So good on you, Zach. Let's see if we can keep that up. Okay, so there, when you're going to break away from the strumming, and you're going to go like a, you got to be ready for that phrase to be in time, just as locked as this other stuff. I love that everything is nice and colorful. You get in like a lot of that sort of character that sometimes people overlook when they're trying to be too careful. You got that. I'd rather be messy and loose in terms of the notes getting through in a sound like this than it having to be too small sounding and safe. But when you get that kind of, you got to imagine that in your head. So you got to prepare. That's one of the big habits that you got to instill into your playing is like mentally rehearse as you're coming around for that boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, the 1, 2, 3, So you got to hit that with the same gusto and the same groove that you're hitting everything else with. So if you got this boom, 1, 2, 3, I got 1, right? So you got to have that transition be a little bit smoother. Just keep that locomotive engine going through. But that's really good stuff, Zach. That's going to serve you well. With or without a band, it sounds like you got the groove cooking. So the bad habit that Zach didn't do, thankfully, is that I see a lot of people over and over again just trying to be sharpshooters, meaning they're trying to hit the groove right on the head and it starts and it stops instead of keeping it going. Once you got it going, you're almost playing air guitar the whole time. And then you just bring the hammer down when you want those notes to come through. It's a lot more fun and it feels a lot more fun that way. Up next, we got Ken doing a bit of a sort of fire on the mountain groove. He's sort of testing the waters of B Mixolydian. That's one of the topics we were covering last week in our workouts. Let's check it out. So he's mostly focusing on the notes. Good vibrato there, I like that. Nice clear tone. But the groove could be improved. I like that he's switching to the triads there. Okay, but to lock in a little bit better with the groove, it's going to take juggling 2 things at once, right? So you've got this kind of like, and that's the one thing I would recommend is that, so these are all members from my community. We work out together every night of the week. Yeah, live, but you can also watch the replays if you want to try it for 2 weeks on the house, totally free, totally guaranteed. I think you'll dig it. Check out the link below. If you can start from the chords and then break away into the single note lines and then come back to the chords, you're going to keep that rhythmic feel throughout. So a lot of times players will go into playing a solo and then they lose that sense of pocket. But just imagine you're playing chords, even when you're playing really simple, just like you would be playing that kind of a pattern. So you've got a boom, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-boom. You can rest single note lines on that too. So really the takeaway, that good habit is to try to beatbox and vocalize whatever rhythm patterns you're trying to make happen. Because the moment you make it internal, like you could sing it and get it stuck in your head, then you've really got it. Then you've got control of it. So if you have like a boom, ba-bum, ba-bum, bum-bum, ba-bum, but you could do anything on that. Bum, da-da-da. And then you can kind of weave between the rhythm and the lead, and it all feels like it flows. Keep it up, Ken. Bad habit. When you go to play a solo, you just lose the groove entirely and focus on trying to hit the dots, and it just gets all noodly. Why not use a good habit of treat it like you're playing chords? Sing the rhythm that you're going to use. Ba, ba, da, 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 da. You can put solo notes on that. All of a sudden, it's locked. Coming up next, we got Tony, another member of the community, playing acoustic here. Super chill vibes. No accompaniment, just a cappella. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Really nice. That finger style, those triads. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's so great. We got to talk about this. And what's great is that it's taken its time. Sometimes groove isn't so much always about locking in with the rest of the band. When it's just you, there's got to be a sense that you're easy with it. So he's doing this E thing in E. Yeah. And a lot of times the bad habit that people run into, especially when they're recording themselves, let me know in the comments if you've ever run into this, that all your best laid plans go out the window and you rush the best part. You might be and you get sort of like skittish, and then you lose that melodic element. And it really sounds like he's got a clear boom, 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 boom. So that lick really has its own character. And then the triads are answering. So when you allow yourself to let the musical ideas sort of land as individual characters, then you have all the time in the world, and then you can just really listen and respond. So the biggest culprit that people usually run into is that they just don't listen to themselves. It's music. You got to listen to it. And I know you might be nervous, but if you can just take a breath, let in all this air and beautiful fills. Yeah. All those textures can come through too. When you're not urgent with it, you can have all the room to be like those like beautiful hammer-ons that like we're in no hurry. If you want to take your time with those, let every note ring out. Let that be a reminder. Simple habits go a long way to feeling the groove every day. If you want to send a video of your own to me to get nicely roasted, hit the link below. I've got incredible resources, jam tracks, free lessons in my open gym. It's sort of a taste of what we do in the guitar workout of the day, but check it out. You can actually send me a video from right within that page. I'd love to listen to what you're working on and flambe your playing. See ya.